Okay, sorry for the technical hitch. We have had a small technical hitch there, but I'm sure if you check it, we are back. Is may naendele. Amen. Oh. Yeah, so thank you so much for those that are following us. This morning I've just had a small technical hitch, but we are back. And where we were, we are saying Justin Muturi, the current, CS for public, I think it is human capital, I think something like that. Yesterday came out, reiterating what he has been saying for a long time on different press conferences and even media outlets, saying that let the government stop abduction, and also criticizing the government in so many other things. He has also not attended, I think, the last 3 cabinet meetings, and he has stated that you'll not be attending, let him be exempted, until the government be able to address the issues of abduction, which to him is a very very big challenge. His son, I think, was abducted during the around the Gen Z's demonstration. Sometimes around the Gen Z's demonstration, and he says that he went up to President William Ruto. That is when his son was released by Nurdin Haji, who is the current director of National Intelligence. And I think this is among those issues that are really critical, or let's say are really sensitive currently, in the nation, in the country of Kenya. And yesterday in JKL we saw him saying that even the Democratic Party, his party DP has given a 30-day, exit notice to the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, and very soon, I think next month, we shall be seeing Democratic Party exit Kenya Kwanza Alliance. And I don't know which party might be coming in, but we shall be watching and seeing the the developments that will be coming out of that story. So yesterday, Muturi reiterated that he's still boycotting the cabinet meetings, until the issue of abduction and extrajudicial killings is formally addressed. He did articulate these instances. I think since his first I think his first press conferences when he came out and say his son was abducted, until he appeared. I think it was January 21st, February 1st, and March 11th. Justin Muturi has been doing press conferences where he has been saying his son was abducted by, I think, NIS, and then he had to go up to the president when that is when his son was released. So his son is called Leslie Muturi. So he has also said that his DP party, he will be exiting Kenya Kwanza, and they have already given a 30-day ultimatum, for anyone, to the Kenya Kwanza administration, that for them they will be leaving anytime soon, and something maybe, Abel, you can talk, as we continue discussing the issue of Justin Muturi. Will there be any impact, if Democratic Party leaves? Because I think the Democratic Party has two, or is it one or two members of parliament. I think the senator for Embu, and I think two members of parliament. Will it make any difference, or to the arithmetic, now that we have Baba inside? We're even hearing rumors of Kalonzo coming inside, and now everyone is coming to Kenya Kwanza or into the government. Will Justin Muturi exit with Kenya, with the East Democratic Party, bring any difference? And also, maybe just to outline a few people have joined us. Bright Linda Chemobo, thank you so much. Thika locked in. Hey, Maze, thank you so much. What were Thika? Yeah, and welcome to the show.
Welcome to the Platform Podcast.
Yeah, where we change the narrative. Cheers, watching live from Kamuneru. Hey, thank you so much. Kamuneru is always the biggest. Felin meaning, I think from Alabama, USA. That is which state? Mississippi or what? Hey, good morning, Abel and Derek. Good morning to you, Felin meaning. Sami Kiprop Kapchanga saying hi, watching from Nom City. Nom City, is the home of Mzima Wells. No, thank you so much, Sami, and thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everyone who is watching and who has joined us this morning. Will Democratic Party exiting Kenya Kwanza Alliance will have any difference or change the arithmetic of William Ruto now that everyone is joining the government?
I followed yesterday. I had the opportunity of following through the interview of Justin B. Muturi and Hussein, not Hussein, and it was in the Jeff Koinange show, but it was done by the journalist. I'm just forgetting his name, and I really wished it was JKL, Jeff Koinange, that was doing that, because I know you'd have asked him, where is Leslie, to come and maybe speak on behalf of himself, because I'm told that Leslie is more than 40 years old, and that one is a man enough probably to come and speak on behalf of himself on these very many issues that are happening and surrounding the issue of JB Muturi and his son. JB Muturi with his party, I think, is amongst the few persons that joined Kenya Kwanza towards the elections, and you have asked me if it has any impact. Definitely it has. It's a political party, and definitely it has impact, but it depends impact on who. We have those people that had elected their leaders through that party are no longer going to be maybe part and parcel of the ruling administration. So that one is first effect, but to the ruling party already you have seen Kenya Kwanza coming into agreement with the ODM party. We have seen them, probably even Kalonzo Musyoka is going to join government, and for me it doesn't really has a lot of effect. In fact, many people believe that by now JB Muturi should have been sacked and even thrown out of the cabinet, because he's been able to miss more than one of the cabinet sittings. And in our constitution, the constitution of Kenya that we promulgated it in 2010 does not allow a minister or a cabinet secretary to skip those sittings, which are always shared by the president. And it's too late, Derek. It's too late even for him. And I think he has been seeking, many people and me politically to speak, he's been seeking maybe that political sympathy, and he's been wanting to be sacked by the president, but that is what the president maybe has not chosen to do. And I think it's now coming in the spirit of the broader based government, Derek. Probably next week in the looming reshuffle of this cabinet secretary. And then I think he knows very well that he is not going to receive the salary of March, probably, and that's why maybe he came out clearly yesterday and maybe say all the wrongdoings, and he has said that he's not going to join those cabinet sittings until the president maybe addresses the issues of abductions. And I remember I saw it during the interview, and him saying that the president had addressed it maybe when he had visited the Luo part Nyanza, but in the cabinet there's not been that clear. Maybe he wanted the president to address it maybe in the cabinet where he sits, and it has not been addressed according to him. And again, he said that his son was being held by the National Intelligence NIS, which after his intervention with the president, although through his statement he said that maybe the president wasn't aware, unlike what has been what is being talked about and what has been being propagated out here, that maybe the president was out, because it seemed that told the president that his son is being held by the National Intelligence Service. And after that is when the president was able maybe to talk with Nordin Haji.
Say the president called. He did say that he went to the president. He had told Nordin Haji severally, where's my son? He went to the president. That is when the president called Nordin Haji, that he could hear. He didn't say that he had one-on-one, but he could hear the president. He overheard the president telling Nordin Haji that, that my release the son of JB. Yes. And maybe just to look at what Justin Muturi, because he has done 2 roles so far in the Kenya Kwanza administration. I think he was appointed in October 2022 to July 2024 when the demonstration he was the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. Even his son was abducted when he was the Attorney General, and he served as the legal advisor, the work that we did see. But after the Gen Z demonstration, he was reshuffled to the Ministry of Public Service and Human Capital Development, which he holds up to date. But I think maybe next week he will be leaving this post, and I don't know what is the motivation of Justin Muturi, really fighting the president. But some people have come out to say maybe he wants to be the governor of Embu, and maybe he should join the Mulima bandwagon led by the Wamnyoro guy, the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. Some people are saying if Justin Muturi should win Embu, he needs to have joined the Mulima bandwagon led by the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. But I think that is not only the motivation, but I think also maybe he was also the way Gachagua is being accused, of being behind the goons that came, and attacked parliament. I think also Justin Muturi, somehow, because there have even some rumors, that somehow, his son Leslie had met a South Sudanese warlord in Nairobi, and they had planned, things. But all in all, for us is to follow up and inform you. But, so far, Justin Muturi, has claimed a lot of things. But do you think President Ruto or the government is the one responsible for abductions?
Thank you very much, Derek. I don't think. Of course, we have had a lot of abduction. I won't be very able to say who's been that person that has been abducting people, and I cannot actually even put the blame. You see, it's only that the buck stops at the president, because he's the head of the country and is the person that is being asked. If the police, in fact, that question should be answered by the police, the person that should answer, or the people that are doing the abductions. And some people have even been asking asking the president, because now the buck stops with the president, who's this person that is in charge of these abductions that are happening in Kenya. Of course, Derek, we condemn abductions. It's something that should not happen to people, but then again, you should also ensure that you as a Kenyan citizen should not find yourself whereby you're being abducted, and or you're being you should not maybe create a situation whereby you're fighting with government, and if anything, you should not. So abductions happened, Derek, and his son was not it's good to report that his son never ended up maybe his body maybe being it's a good thing that he never died, and at least we can speak about it maybe in a certain direction, and in a way that maybe it's not very, very bad. So yeah, some people strongly believe, and some people are connecting the dots, and some people are saying that Leslie, the name of J.B. Muturi's son, maybe in one way or the other was actively participating, and maybe he was seen. I heard his father saying in his statement that he was seen with Mwenje, MP Embakasi West, and you see him is a Jubilee member of parliament, and some people strongly believe that they were the people that were strongly funding the maandamano, and probably the reason why he was being associated. Then there is that was mentioned that some people even believe that he was maybe in a guns business with some warlord from South Sudan, and maybe what makes the intelligent people maybe to try and link him with that. And it is what is happening. Maybe J.B. Muturi is among those people that were supposed to maybe go home with Wamunyoro. You may never know. It's what is happening in the political space. And as I've told you, Derek is not going to survive even probably this month. And I've heard that probably we are going to have the looming cabinet reshuffle. And he is amongst the people that I'm seeing probably is not going to retain his seat, is no longer going to retain his seat. And someone again said that probably J.B. Muturi has been, maybe him alone was saying that there are things that maybe he's been pushing and he's been trying to maybe advise the government to do. And some people believe that the president maybe never put him in that very lucrative cabinet seat. And I don't know if it's very true, but let's see how things are going to unfold and see how it goes.
Yeah. Justin Muturi has said also, he has written a memorandum to the cabinet that he may not attend until they resolve the issues of abduction. Previously, the political career of Justin Muturi, he has been a member of parliament between 1999 to 2007, Siakago constituency. Then he became the Speaker of the National Assembly 2013 to 2022. And I think he has held several, appointments by the president, which you have talked about, the Attorney General and the Minister for Human, Capital Development and Public Service. But now, do you think you'll also nourish in the politics of maybe Embu County, become a real governor, become someone who is like Natembe, and become a strong critic of the president? We have only had him, start, his start his criticism. We have not heard him being a critic of the government before. Will he continue, or this is just those last kicks of a dying donkey? If he may not even get the governor position or any seat in Embu or in the Mount Kenya politics, because politics is also a game of numbers. Do you think the political career of Justin Muturi is now at a bright stage because he has come out to like disseminate himself from William Ruto completely? Do you think now he holds a chance of becoming someone in Mount Kenya?
Thank you, Derek. I think these guys are just casualties of the Gen Z, and some people out here, I wonder, everyone wants to identify with Gen Z. I want to make it clear to everyone that Gen Z are not entirely right in everything that they're trying to push. In fact, if anything, Gen Zs are just trying to look for a better direction. If you see those things that maybe most of the Gen Zs are trying maybe to bring out, most of these things are what we have been, even before we started calling ourselves. We have so many people that have been trying to fight for these things even before the Gen Z came. So for just someone to wonder and come and identify that Gen Z has been saying this, Gen Z, it's not new to Kenya. No, corruption did not start with the administration of President William Ruto. All these things that Gen Z have been maybe saying did not start with President William Ruto. And for anyone to come out here and start to say that, Gen Z is saying this, Gen Z is saying this, I cannot identify with that kind of a person, because all along, where were you when Gen Z was not even existing? Why were you not speaking about these things when we did not have Gen Zs? And sometimes it pains me even to see those older people trying to say, Gen Z, say, what about you as an individual before Gen Z? What were you saying? Yeah. And you should be someone that, we can only judge you, Derek, with your track record. And these guys have track records. They have been existing even before 2 years, even before last year. Before the Mandaman of last year, they were there. Yeah. And for someone to come and now want to maybe hang and ride on this umbrella of Gen Z, in fact, I want to tell you that maybe even it's only 10% of Gen Z that probably are going to vote. Ask those majority of Gen Zs, they don't have voting. They don't even know the pain of going to stand on those voting lines. And I'm wondering if they are going to do the same in 2027. And if you can remember, I voted in 2022, Derek. And majority of the people that I was standing with them on those lines are even older people. I never saw young people. Majority of those people are older people, and these are the people that maybe they should be giving us direction, and they know the history. They know how Kenya has been operating since time immemorial. And again, you've mentioned that politics is a game of numbers. It doesn't mean that now that Muthomi Njuki has lost the numbers in Embu. Not Cecily Mbariri. Doesn't mean that Cecily Mbariri has now lost the numbers in Embu. And we have seen, and people from Mount Kenya East are now even showing us that direction. They've been giving us, Derek, women leaders amongst the few counties that, in fact, Mount Kenya are the leading in terms of giving us those governors that are women. And I am very sure that Cecily Mbariri can even secure another second chance if it's game of numbers, because she's proven it. She's part of the bigger, broader base government. I think she's amongst those people that are deep-rooted in UDA, and those people that will ensure that she's very close to the president, and we know Derek, and it's even clear that this man is only fighting the president because maybe he knows very clearly that even back at home he may never get that chance of maybe getting that seat, and him for him to be political right to the people of Embu, he must ensure that he is against the president and against Cecily Mbarire for him to secure that chance. So it's not going to be easy for him, if you ask me, as that man that has been able to be in the political space and being a political commentator, Derek. It's going to be hard for him maybe to secure that chance. We remember, I think he was just an MP or a senator. An MP before coming to and a speaker. It was the only position that he was able maybe to hold that was very, and it was because of Uhuru Kenyatta. So JB Muturi is not that guy that is very, very influential in the Kenyan political space, and is not a subject, Derek. We are going to forget him the same way we have started forgetting Wamunyoro, especially after the broader-based government. The man is confused. He doesn't know even what to talk about.
Yeah. Justin Muturi, claiming that they have already given a 30-day notice to Kenya Kwanza that they will be exiting, the administration. But also, I think, for his political career, let's hope all the best. Felin Mining is clarifying, saying the city is Tuscaloosa and the state is Alabama. Yeah. Thank you so much, Felin Mining from Tuscaloosa, the state of Alabama. Chepped Up Watson saying good morning guys, live from Vegas. Good job, Wadau. Vegas. Hey, thank you so much, Chepped Up Watson. How is Nakuru?
Do you remember the lady we were really with her during the times of Chai music? You remember that lady from Land B, that lady that you remember the lady from
maybe I will be
you really know her, but
yeah,
I know it's the name that maybe is confusing.
Sharon. Sharon, thank you so much, Sharon. Felin Meaning Immaculate Chemtai, pitia huku kuna vitu mzuri. Immaculate bana kimbia. Willy Ndiama live from Nyanza, Migori. Thank you so much, Willy. How is Migori? Morgan Chipkube saying Bungoma Montelgon tuko live. Thank you so much. Abigail Boyo anasema Savea Brahma Jahamka. Then there is someone near Triongo, is saying Befian Triongo is saying live from America. And then I think it's Robin saying live from Kipieto. Thank you so much. How is Kipieto, Robin bwana? Meli na Moit Kitale. Kitale Kwanza live. Thank you so much. And then we have finally, Felin Meaning anasema finally nimeona Derek akismile. Sawa. Thank you.
They rarely see smile.
They rarely see me smile. Yeah, because
Robin K.E.P. anasemaje? I say in full okay.
He's replying to someone. Thank you so much. Those who are watching, those who have joined us this morning, and as as Justin Muturi is throwing and is trying to throw jitters at the president. The president is on his day, he is having a 5-day tour of Nairobi, and on his third day we saw him in cutting through the constituencies of Westlands, Dagoretti North and Dagoretti South, and the president still pushing for his infrastructure, education and economic opportunities agenda. In Westlands we saw him, he did launch a construction of additional classrooms at Westlands Primary School to address overcrowding and to improve learning conditions. This aligns, with the agenda of the government to improve on CBC and other things. We also saw him opening junior secondary schools in Westlands. He later visited, Kangemi Market, and we all know Kangemi Market. It's a key trading hub, and inspected the progress of the Kangemi Bridge. You remember the Kangemi Bridge did fall some time back, killing some people there. A critical infrastructure that will also ease traffic congestion. He also emphasized on supporting small-scale businesses and enhancing urban mobility. We did see even that, in the pending bills, the first priority has been given to those that have 10 million and below. If your pending bill is 10 million and below, that one will be paid, I think, almost immediately. The president then did go to Dagoretti North, parts of Kawangware, where he engaged with the residents and launched a significant projects. He commissioned the deputy county commissioners, chief's camp. I think he opened a chief's camp and deputy county commissioners offices. He also saw a groundbreaking of a digital innovation hub at the DCC grounds, which it tends to equip we have seen the idea of the president, pushing for digitization of almost everything. The cabinet is 100%, 100% digital. And so many other things. We are also having the e-citizens, where services of the government, are procured directly, through our phones. At Kawangware Primary Schools and Gatina Primary School, he access ongoing classroom construction, part of the broader, the JSS, part of the supporting the broader, the CBC. And the president, I think, intends to allocate 1 billion, I think, in the 10 years or 5 years, to open 500 new classrooms in the 17 constituencies of Nairobi. He also did go to Kawangware Market, where he addressed, Congo Stage 2, Stage 56, where he addressed the members of the public, still emphasizing on unity and other, his major things, including his good relationship with Raila Odinga now. And later on, he went to Dagoretti South, where he visited, Muturi Fresh Market. I think he did start his day in Muturi, fresh produce market. There is where he started his day yesterday, where he think is improving on the market, to bring modern and I think cooling facilities there. You also broke ground for 350 million Ruto market, which is part of I think improving on business and SMEs, in the broader Kenya. He also launched, I think, a Jitume hub at PC Kinyanjui Technical, Training Institute, and he opened the Renewable Energy Efficiency Laboratory also in the same institution. I think these are just part of the development that the president has been pushing. And I don't know, maybe just, as we continue dissecting on the president tour, maybe you can tell us, Abel Kibe, why are we not seeing ODM members majorly, on these presidents, tour of Nairobi?
But Tim Onyonyo is present, and I think in Westlands, and I think that is only what we should be expecting. We do not expect to see very many members of parliament, maybe again, following president everywhere. I think I think it's only the MPs from those constituencies that maybe the president should be, where the president is doing those development tours, is where the MPs maybe should be available, and probably majority leaders, and those that maybe hold those key committee positions that may be useful to the president, in those particular rallies. Maybe, we know how impactful and how useful when the president is in accompaniment with those maybe leaders of specific committees that may be very critical for the people. And Again, we are very much aware that in the spirit of the broader based government does not necessarily mean that you should be the president everywhere. We've even seen various and many pro-government MPs, those that have been in government all along, all of them, they are not always with the president in every meeting, Derek, and it doesn't it's in fact what matters is it's only, I think the party leader Raila Amolo Odinga said that we are now working with and we must not see them together to perceive or to view them now to be working together. No, working together is actually through those policies, through creating laws that are going to be beneficial to the people and maybe the citizens of Kenya, Derek. And it's good. I was seeing the social media's banters as usual. You see, many people are expecting probably for Tim Wanyonyi maybe not to be present when President Ruto was launching those various projects, but I heard Tim Wanyonyi telling them that telling the kids that this one is the most hardworking president of the Republic of Kenya, Derek. So yeah, it tells you, it just tells you. And Derek, if a member of parliament has performed very well, the credit goes to the member of parliament and the president who ensure that maybe those funds are available for those maybe specific projects and development to happen in those specific areas. And if it's what is happening, and it's what has been happening, and we've been telling our people, make sure that you are holding your member of parliament accountable, make sure that you are holding your member of county assembly accountable, you're holding your governor accountable, so that when you do not get development in your locality, in your area, you are not only blaming the president, but you are also making sure that someone who you elected to be your representative in that specific area, in that specific constituency, does that job that is supposed to do, and not ending up in a situation whereby some of you again are blaming, you end up blaming the president in what you should be indeed blaming the MP or the member of the member of your county assembly. So we're expecting to see the president even after Nairobi County, him touring other areas, Derek. We're expecting. I heard the people of Eldoret, the people of your Singishu saying that now the president want to also see you at home. You have been touring these other areas and we can't see you at home. So in that spirit, Derek, it makes even some people to want to see the president coming to even their areas. It doesn't matter who the president is with, as long as we saw them signing an MOU, Derek. We expect even to see the president going to Turkana without those ODM MPs, as long as he's going to meet with those MPs from those areas. If the president is going to Busia today, let him go and meet with the MPs from Busia. It doesn't matter which coalition that MP is. You know, some MPs have come out and have formed a theatrics of even skipping those development tours that are being done by the president in the areas, so that they cannot answer. And we saw it during the burial of Malulu Wainjendi in Malava, when the president was mentioning some development. He was saying that some of these roads are supposed to be being done by your MPs, and I'm only doing some of this road if your MP has come maybe to talk with me and even to ask that I now need your hand as the president. I cannot access to these funds, Derek. So in that same spirit, let those MPs that are even not in coalition with the government go and look for the president, Derek, to ensure that the development is being taken to their homes.
Yeah, make sure you look for national progress. We did see Wiper yesterday give us out a statement saying they are pushing for for their people to be part of the national cake, and therefore the president, I think today is on his day 4, tomorrow day 5, tour of Nairobi, and we shall be updating you on every development project. But yesterday we did see him in Westlands, still Westlands, Dagoretti North and Dagoretti South, still pushing on the agendas of education, markets, opening more markets, and even, schools and even junior secondary school, with an aim of supporting JSS, finishing overcrowding, and even, improve the education standards in the city of Nairobi. And as we continue, Kenya is facing its own challenges, but Burkina Faso, are rising to their challenges. Yesterday we did see Burkina Faso opening their first, motorbike manufacturing, I think, company, with the aid of Japan. Now I think very soon Burkina Faso will be exporting motorbikes to every parts of Africa and even the world. And we shall be diving into that, But just before I dive into that, maybe Abel, what do you know about Burkina Faso? Just if maybe you can just, jiggle or joke with your mind a little bit. What do you know about Burkina Faso?
First of all, it's a country that is in West Africa. I know it is one of the countries that has been suffering, especially one of the poorest countries again in Africa. I remember, if you can ask me few poorest countries, I know of Togo, I know of Sierra Leone and Burkina Faso. And again,
GDP is about $20.32 billion.
Yeah,
compared to Kenya, which is around $150
billion. You see, it's almost like
it's 7 times.
Almost 7 times. It's like, let's say that one is just like Eldoret city only. Or Mombasa city of Kenya. Because we know Nairobi is the leading GDP in Kenya, and we can only equate that of Burkina Faso with one city in Kenya, in what is being done in one city in Kenya. And it tells you that Burkina Faso is a very, very small and poor country. And again, Derek, we have been having a lot of political instability in Burkina Faso. And again, if I remember well, I think this is the country with I think it has almost 2 or 3 coup d'etats that has happened in that country. And it tells you that it is a country that has experienced a lot of it has experienced less in terms of development and in terms of progress. And it's a country, we can say it's not even a third world, it's amongst the poorest countries, because if Kenya is a third world country, what of Burkina Faso? So it tells you. Until recently, when they got the youngest, I think the youngest president the most youngest president in Africa. And it's amongst the things that Burkina Faso is now being known with one of the youngest leaders in Africa, and has been trying to do a lot, trying to even change a lot, and that is what we are even seeing and what we're expecting. And you see, it's a country that has witnessed little in terms of progress, and anything that comes right now for them that comes as that comes from maybe this president who has now maybe is really showing that interest of the people, and has shown that he really wants to work for the people of Burkina Faso. And it's what we are having maybe, and even today forms even the basis of us even talking about Burkina Faso. It's because of the youngest leader that they're having currently.
Also, the Burkina Faso, they are called the Burkinabes, the people from Burkina.
They're also good in Derek. They're also good in football. You'll hear them in football during AFCON, during CHAN. They're also doing good in those in football.
Yeah. So they are called the Burkinabes, the people from, Burkina Faso. They are standing up to their challenges, and since the coup, in 2022 by Captain Ibrahim Traore, so much has been done. And not only are we going to talk about him, as a person, but maybe let's just, look at the profile of the man. His full name is Ibrahim Traore, born on March March 14th, 1988, 36 years old, born in a place called Kera, Mohon province, Burkina Faso. He's a Burkinabe. He's not marital status, he hasn't publicly disclosed. There are so many things. He attended primary school in Bundokuyu, secondary school in Dulaso, Burkina Faso. Tertiaries, he did bachelor's of degree in geology somewhere in University of Ouagadougou, and also Ouagadougou is the capital of Burkina Faso. He did join the Burkinabe army in 2009. He went to Morocco for training, and then he later was sent as infantry to Kaya, the northern part of the. In 2014, he was lieutenant, I think, in the Burkinabe army. In 2018, in the MINUSMA peacekeeping, he served in the MINUSMA peacekeeping, which I think was going to deal with the rebels in Timbuktu region.
Timbuktu.
Not Timbuktu. Not Timbuktu. Not Timbuktu. Timbuktu. I think it's the region around Timbuktu. So he went there I think, to keep, to deal with the rebels there. He has also been in counter-insurgency operation in northern Burkina Faso in 2019 against the jihadists. 2020 was promoted to captain amid his growing disillusionment within national leadership over inadequate troop support. Then in 2022, he participated in a coup that installed the Patriotic Movement for Safeguarding and Restoration junta, served as the head of artillery regiment in Kaya in 2022, and then in September 30, 2022, a coup that ousted Paul Henry Sandaogo Damibe. I think that is the time when now he becomes the leader of Burkina Faso. He then became an interim president, that is, I think, in October 2022. And then henceforth, he has continued with this, with his emphasis on security, economic independence, and agricultural reform. And now let's talk about this, and we shall be comparing with Kenya, because if we don't have a motorcycle manufacturing company in Kenya, but it's there in Burkina Faso, and I think it's worth it, comparing, what is this that, Traore has done that maybe can be done in Kenya, and the lessons that we can learn from what Burkina Faso has done. In agriculture, he has mechanized agriculture and brought food sovereignty initiative. In 2022, this administration launched an agro-pastoral offensive, I think to modernize, their farming in Burkina Faso. And I think this is the time when he bought the tractors, and brought other things, and now we can say Burkina Faso exports, according to data, Burkina Faso exports over 200 tons of rice annually since he took power in 2022. There are so many other things, including sunflower seeds and production of edible oil, they have really increased in Burkina Faso. He has also, in agriculture, has also pushed for training and youth engagement. He has brought a program, that targets 2,000 youths, to increase their agro-pastoral skills, and even recruit 8,000 more into this sector. In land restoration and climate adaptation, Burkina Faso has expanded its traditional techniques like Zai, planting pits to retain water and nutrients and stone, but they dig pits, in their farms, so that when it rains, water, stands they can use the water to irrigate, the farms, And I think also the World Bank and IFID has supported them with some money, to do some projects. Also, they have diversified on their export beyond cotton, which remains a key export in that country. They are now scaling up on sesame, cashew nuts, and wheat and rice, for I think they are now exporting, we have said 200,000, tons of rice every year annually. And in irrigation and infrastructure expansion, they have expanded, remembering that part of Burkina Faso is in the Sahel region. They have improved, I think, on the canal. They are building on the canal that are passing through Ouagadougou, going to the semi-arid places in Burkina Faso, and I think let's talk, in Kenya we have had the president doing, improving, reducing the price of fertilizer, reducing the price of seeds and improving the quality of the same seeds. We have had him even, doing so many things, but we have seen, we can't say, even last year, we did produce more sugar than we needed in the country, but we can't say we are exporting that much, and we can't say we are exporting it somewhere. But in 2 years, remember Traore in 2022, President William Ruto has also come in 2022. Do you think these things that Traore has done, which includes even training and bringing the youth into agriculture, do you think there are some things that still President William Ruto can do, to make agriculture really vibrant, and a strong backbone, for our economy in Kenya?
I don't want to compare that Burkina Faso with Kenya, even as a country, and even in terms of leadership and style. I'm imagining if President Ruto today decide that every if you're a farmer, make sure that you're planting rice. It's going to be a very serious political issue, but I don't think if it's the same in Burkina Faso.
In Burkina Faso, they haven't told people,
yes, they haven't told people, but it's been the agenda. It's been the agenda it's been the top agenda of the government, and I think you can't really compare with what is being done in Kenya, and even in terms of machinery, Derek. If you mention tractors, when did tractors come to maybe the Kenyan farming? It's something like what we are trying to deal with in terms of agriculture in Kenya, and what we are trying to, maybe Burkina Faso is trying to do in its country in terms of agriculture. Maybe it's the same in terms of maybe ensuring we have food security, and maybe for them now, Kenya, we are the biggest. Our biggest exporting products are agricultural products, which therefore means that we are doing something that maybe some countries are not doing. And in trying to improve agriculture, we are not maybe for us in Kenya, we are trying to have machines and what we are trying to deal with farmers is something very different. We are seeing in Kericho farmers we are having conflict between machineries and farmers. Farmers are saying, the tea pickers are saying, we don't want to have these machines. They're taking our jobs. In other countries, they are dealing with slightly a different thing. So these nations, when you ask me, Derek, there are different nations even in terms of leadership. If you bring Ibrahim Traore to Kenya today to maybe to come and maybe make the same policies work in terms of agriculture, I can assure you, Derek, it's not going to be the same. But we must applaud and we must encourage young people in Kenya. Maybe the biggest difference that we are seeing young people
what can the president or the government now do to bring young people.
Yes,
Remember,
yeah.
80% agriculture employs 80% of people
Yeah.
in Burkina Faso.
Yes.
In Kenya, it employs 54%. It
Yes.
therefore means that the issue of unemployment somehow in Burkina Faso can be said, we have pushed our young people
Into farming.
into farming.
Yes.
What can be done?
It's the same spirit, and I think the problem with Kenya is our education system, and which it should be changed now, because agriculture was long in the past, and I think this 844, in as much as many people are really trying to appreciate the 844, where did we lose our culture as young people of even calling ourselves farmers? When we are young, Derek, it was very rare to get young people saying that we want to be farmers, and you might take it as a joke, but it really affected a very bigger and a whole generation, such that it was very hard to get maybe young people wanting to identify with farming. And it's something that even if you look at the population that is into farming, Derek, it's the older people and the younger older people, or the elderly young people. We can say maybe 40s and above, probably 40s and above, are the people that are really into agriculture. When you get mostly young people are trying to engage in things that maybe are not necessarily to do with agriculture, in the name of, maybe some people think that agriculture is dirty, it's dirty job. Some people cannot clearly see the money that you can get in agriculture. So I think the government should ensure and should continue encouraging people through government sensitization, that through and ensure that I really hope that even apart from machinery, apart from Abraham Traore ensuring that machineries are being given, even loans, they're ensuring that these farmers can get access, plus market. They can ensure, even as a president, you ensure that these farm products get proper market and good market, so that we can ensure more young people coming to agriculture. Let us have more sensitization in Kenya, and because not that we don't have agricultural weather in Kenya, or those people that should be, we have bigger tracts of land that, Derek, we're having tea plantation, we're having coffee farming in Kenya. Mention them. We're having even those cash crops, and we're having those arrowroots, things like I'm seeing many Kenyans engaging in crops such as cassava in terms of large scale purpose. What we are only seeing we are used to seeing maybe Ghana as the only country that was producing cocoa, but right now we are seeing it in Kenya. So the biggest challenge that probably it's now that agenda of the Kenyan people. Our constitution, again, Derek, it's not progressive. I know Abraham Traore is using his military again tactic to make sure that people are participating in agriculture, and when President Ruto maybe tries to do that, our constitution is not very progressive in making maybe such things as agriculture to be. In Kenya we are getting young people complaining that we cannot get jobs, because we know they only want to get jobs in these public offices. But if the young people can make themselves an agenda of even avoiding the white collar jobs, and even them alone coming to agriculture. Again, Derek, it's not even the agenda of the president. If the president announced, let us now go to and I'm providing this, I'm providing fertilizer. It's now you as a young person, apart from government maybe providing loans for maybe young people now to get maybe initial capital for them now to start. And I think if the government can come up with plans, you see, if we can irrigate, you are talking about canals, if we can irrigate these deserts, we have a lot of lands that can be turned into productive lands, in ensuring that maybe we have seen it happening in Dubai, in Qatar, in Egypt, them irrigating dry lands, them irrigating deserts. So in Kenya, again, we don't really have that large tracts of land that we can say, apart from maybe the western part of Kenya and the Rift, and maybe the central part of Kenya. If we can turn, the only way now we can bring younger people into agriculture, Derek, let us go and turn those dry areas into these lands, and now take young people, those that are jobless. You know, again, we are telling the young people, come into agriculture, but they don't have land, Derek, maybe to now come and practice. Like even in Sierra Leone, I've heard that maybe those young people, they're being given two hectares of land, each 2 hectares of land, to ensure that you are producing. Not only the government saying that we want you to participate in agriculture minus a proper plan. Let the government have that proper plan, that even in telling the young people come and participate in farming, you are giving them something that is going to ensure that indeed this young person is going to get something in farming, not just telling them that come to farming. The young people don't have land, Derek. They don't have capital. So we must walk the talk.
Yeah, Masi Masai anasema ndio kudonjo. Thank you so much, Masi. But let the government really look for market, for the agricultural produce being produced in Kenya. This, will give security to the young people that agriculture is a flourishing thing. But what is very, very interesting is agriculture contributes to employment 80% in Burkina Faso. In Kenya it's 54% of the population. Meaning, the many young people. It's the many young people in Kenya don't want to engage in agriculture. You have said, the 3/4 of Kenya, I think not 3/4, 2/3 is an arid place. You have also said, that Kenya, not everyone owns land, and not every young people own land. Not even everyone owns land. I've said also, market for the produce, is not really there, or is still a problem in the Republic of Kenya. We have a problem with market for our produce, that the agricultural produce that we produce here in Kenya. But just comparing industry in Burkina Faso, industry is still very, very young. They are just starting on industrialization. But Kenya, we have seen manufacturing and industrialization being 7% of the GDP. We are not really far ahead in manufacturing. What do you think holds Africa back in manufacturing, just before we really talk about solutions, because there are so many problems that maybe manufacturing. Me as an industrialist, will tell you there are so many things, like lack of maybe electricity, cheap electricity. There is no cheap electricity in Kenya. There are no good roads that go everywhere in Kenya. There is no that good network roads in the country. There are also, access to capital, access to raw material are still the biggest problems, including capital. To start an industry, you need money, and these are among the very, very many big problems, maybe in Kenya. But why do you think Africa we still lag behind in manufacturing?
I think it's common reason again. In Africa, we are the producers of the raw material. We are the people with everything that maybe is needed even for those manufacturing companies in other places. And I think it should be now. I think it says that necessity is the mother of all invention, and I think it's about time. And with this kind of generation, again, we can say that Africa, we've been a planet in the dark. We've been a lot of things. We've been depending from the Western culture, from Europe, from Asia, a lot in terms of technology. Technology was not very advanced, but in this era, with this era of living, I think it's about time. And our leaders now, it the buck stops with our leaders, because they are now the people that should now, because we have the capacity, we have right now as a generation, we have everything that it takes for us maybe to even have those manufacturing industries, because even to manufacture even things like phones, we have raw products here in Congo to manufacture, even to produce agricultural products. We are indeed the best the countries that are producing these agricultural products. So I think it's just our leaders, and even us as a nation. We even saw during calamities such as COVID, even for us to have medicine that could even cure and vaccinate COVID, we needed the intervention of other countries. But after that is when us Africans now realize that we can even produce and we can even manufacture our own medicine, if indeed we are going to maybe be serious with ourselves. And if those other nations are going to, we also have those national policies, Derek, from international, that are making African countries, maybe we have those foreign policies that have ensured and have made sure that African countries remain poor by ensuring that we are not producing, Derek, we are not manufacturing. But it's now high time for our leaders to ensure that maybe they're setting up these industries, coming up with this, let it be the agenda of our leaders, because we have the capability right now. If it's electricity, Derek, electricity is being produced in most of these African countries. I think it's goodwill of our people, and if it's talent personnel right now, we have very many young people that can be able to operate bigger machines and even come up with new ideas that maybe were perceived not to be in Africa. This is something that we were believing that maybe you can only get development from those Western countries. But I think right now it's about time we can handle it, and let us stop that mentality that we can only depend from goods being finer and being maybe only manufactured and refined from other countries. We can do it as Africa, and I think right now it's the time. It's only the agenda. It's our leaders that maybe have not been showing that really the agenda of wanting to have these industries in Africa.
Yeah, let our governments be having an agenda that put industries as as a peel of the economy. We should have agendas, and we should have program policies that stimulate industrialization in Kenya, where are the people nearest to the raw materials. We should use it well. But as Burkina Faso and Kenya continue being African states that lead the way in developing their people in different ways. We know Ibrahim Traore is a Marxist. He gets inspiration from Marxism and communism and African Pan-Africanism too. But our country Kenya is a democracy, and we are a capitalistic nation too. So as we continue, building our nation, Ukraine did agree on a ceasefire in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. This is after an 8-hour, negotiations meeting. And on March 11, 2025, Ukraine agreed to the US proposed ceasefire during the talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. These talks were hosted by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, involving high-level Ukrainian and American delegation. The American delegation, was led by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. And, in the meeting, that took the 8 hours long, there were some things that were agreed on, This includes the US, resuming to military and military aid and intelligence sharing, with Ukraine immediately following, whatever the ceasefire agreement, reversing the suspension that had been given there, after the spat that happened between Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Office, and among other things, I think also. Among other things that were agreed on was, humanitarian measures such as prisoner exchange, release of civilian detainees, and the return of Ukrainian children forcibly transferred to Russia. Also, we did see a few days before the high-level meeting, Zelensky, President Zelensky of Ukraine traveled to Saudi Arabia, where he holds no talk with the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and he has said, he's positive about the talks that are going on in Saudi Arabia. The first one happened in Riyadh, this one with Ukraine's now did happen in Jeddah, and the Ukrainians agreed to a ceasefire, which is just a temporary measure or an immediate measure, opening up to the negotiations. Now the US Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor, they said that now the ball is in the Russian court. It's them now who are going to decide whether whatever the US and Ukraine have agreed should be the way forward, or maybe they are going to talk more, or other things, are going to happen. But as the talks, continued, Russia launched airstrikes in Kyiv and Kharkiv, regions of Ukraine. This is, after, as the talks continue, Moscow is pounding, Ukraine very, very hard. And I think they just want, to have an upper hand in the negotiating table. And I see one of our viewers, Faith Mateta, is saying, watching live from Nairobi, Kitengela. Thank you so much. Those who remember, Kitengela last year was an epicenter of demonstrations. But going back to the Ukraine now, the Ukraine's Abel have agreed ceasefire. During the State of the Union address by Donald Trump, we had him saying that, Zelensky is ready for peace. Can we now say, can we be sure or be certain that maybe Russia or maybe Ukraine has agreed that, maybe, the ceasefire, they have agreed, let them, stop, fighting. But we can also see the Russians, are continuing to fight. Do you think if the Ukrainian puts their weapons down fast, does that, make Russia have an upper hand in the negotiation table? Because as we speak, Russia is pounding Ukraine hard, and Ukrainians have already agreed to the ceasefire, and Trump is saying the Ukrainians have no other option.
Yeah, I think that was the point, and it's something that it just comes out clear as time goes, and I think we are now heading towards the end of this one, and it's something that is going to be good, and it's the best for the people, and I think it's high time Zelensky. Sometimes, Derek, there is no need of losing so much before accepting that we have really lost it. Sometimes it's good to say that I've lost it, and yeah, it is what it is. And I really hope even after we come into peace, after we come into peace, that we are really going. Some people must be arrested, Derek. Some people must be held. Some people must be held accountable for what we have had to have in this particular war in Ukraine and Russia. Of course, Derek, it's common reason that with the funding that was coming from the United US, and it's now going to stop, it puts Ukraine in a jeopardy position, and I think it's high time now for them to cease fire of exactly what they are doing. through that, Derek, it it tells you, it communicates that we have accepted, you have won. We know who have the winners of the war, and it doesn't matter. The winner of it all is when we are not having war. Yeah, peace is the biggest win that we can ever have after war. With peace we now have stability, and it is now leading us towards where we wanted, Derek. And if Zelensky has accepted that ceasefire is the way to go, and then I'm very sure also through the intervention of the United States, the Russians are going to stop the war and probably lead towards negotiation and even towards justice. Let us have even justice for those old people that have died, those people that have lost their lives and a lot of property in this war.
Yeah, should also the Russia has occupied Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions. Should they... do you think part of the agreement will have Russia returning these territories to Ukraine?
I'm not really saying that, Derek, because if we had the war because Russia had refused to maybe to bend to some laws, and even Ukraine went to war because of the same. So my answer, no, it's no.
Yeah. Maybe Russia will continue occupying these regions.
Definitely going to. It's the reason why they went to war.
Yeah. Some people have said also it's because of the critical, minerals and raw materials. Do you think so? Maybe people are fighting for control of Ukraine because of the minerals.
Derek, definitely it's what is happening in Congo. It's what definitely it must be. There is no way someone is going to, there must be a benefit of that area. The same thing we had in Migingo, Derek. It's because of fish. So yeah, definitely we always have these reasons that are making people to fight, and the reason why someone is really holding for that position. So for me, it's amongst the reason, Derek.
Yeah, it's the minerals are the ones that will determine the future of the world. The minerals, the coltan.
Yes, minerals. It's the money. It's the value.
Yeah. They are the ones which build they build the modern technology. So they matter so much, and I think we shall be seeing a ceasefire. But finally will we see now that after these talks, will we see the end, or because there's a deep, mistrust between Russia and Ukraine. Will we see, a long-lasting and sustainable peace? Because, the issue of Russia and Ukraine has been there for a long time.
It's my prayer that probably we come and have to an end of the situation that is happening in Ukraine and Russia. It's a war that has taken over 500,000 lives, Derek, from both sides, and over 250,000 lives have been lost in that war, and it's not something that is going to end, that it come to an end. No, of course, no. Like the enmity that has been created between those countries, you cannot even imagine, Derek, because it's very tough. But what we need as a nation, what we need as even as a continent, is peace, Derek. It's peace, and if we're going to have a long-lasting peace until again we come to a situation whereby you can, let us always be in a position whereby we can negotiate for peace. And that is the situation that we are really praying, and that is the situation that we want to have with these two countries, Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, we want long lasting peace. Yeah, that has been, from our table, the stories and the things that we have been following this morning, starting from what JB Justin Muturi, did say in JKL last night, continuing with these, continued attacks on the Kenya Kwanza regime, saying the Democratic Democratic Party will be exiting Kenya Kwanza. They have already given a 30-day notice to the Kenya Kwanza that they are exiting the coalition. Now, we have also talked about the president's tour, of Nairobi. Yesterday was on day 3. Today was in day 4. We have seen him, he's already in Ngong, starting, his tour continuing with his tour of Nairobi. We have also, talked about Burkina Faso. They did launch, a motorbike manufacturing company yesterday in in Ouagadougou, and we did, we have talked about, compared it with Kenya, the agricultural initiatives.
In fact, Derek, we do not even talk about the motorbike. You see, motorbikes we have a lot of motorbikes in Kenya. We remember when President Ruto was trying to introduce the electric bikes in Kenya, Derek, it received a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
But it's what we're happening, and we really hope, you see, with this media, international media, the way it's being reported, I strongly believe somewhere else this good progress of what is happening in Kenya is always I really hope it's also being reported the same way we are receiving those reports from even Burkina Faso, in terms of, because if today President Ruto is going to say that let us have a manufacture, our constitution, Derek, will again have some people going to court, and you still wonder. So we are having different nations, Derek, in this aspect.
We have talked before about the arms of the government, and there was, which you have seen in Kenya, and our last story was Ukraine, agreeing on a ceasefire, a 30-day ceasefire, opening way for negotiations with Russia. We are hoping for peace, and maybe, maybe to close, on 12th of April. 12th of April, in Utawala, Nairobi, the Platfest will be coming down, and grab your tickets now, check out, I think, our pay bill, you can call the numbers on your screen for more information. You can check out our pinned post, also for more information. Grab your ticket so that 12th of April, tunapatana pale Utawala, Nairobi.
Yeah, thank you. Make sure purpose to attend that, and really appreciate all of you for always tuning in to the morning show and for staying with us here for more than an hour. We don't take it for granted. Manze, nyinyi ni watu wa power sana. We'll be together again tomorrow, the last day of the week. Yeah, very much. We really have so much aligned for you. And I think until next time, peace.
Yeah, let's meet, tomorrow. And